Okay, so that was very abrupt and something went wrong. I don't know, this is way too early to really examine anything, but if you check out this motor there, it's like, yeah, everything is good, and this one, and then this one, everything is there, but the last one, the screws seem to have come undone, these screws here, so the whole motor started to wind itself up around its wires. That's bad. So I have not been checking for how loose or tight the screws are. I've been checking the mechanism itself, but I haven't been checking on these screws, and this might be the cause for the sudden sideways, because this is the sideway propeller that controls the yaw, roll, of course, and yaw also, but roll together with the motor over here. So this might be that it came loose and started to spin the whole motor instead of the propeller. I hope that is the culprit to the small incident. Okay, so I will fix that, and I will have to wait, I think, for my spare propellers to arrive. I have already ordered a couple, but they're not here yet. So, but it was so cute when it was strolling around and just doing its thing. It was much more slow. I anticipated the wheel speed to be like, well, producing a little bit more forward motion on the craft, but it was super easy to control since it was so slow. But I really wanted to do a landing. I wanted to like roll and take off, and then I did really want to see how it would manage to suddenly get traction again and move on. But that's obviously for the next episode or coming episodes, I suppose. Okay, so just picking up from the previous little incident, I feel that it's very clear now that the main issue here was that the screws to the motor came loose, and then the counter torque from the motor started to spin, or counter torque from the propellers started spinning the motor and winding up the electrical connections to the motor, and they got in between the motor mount and the motor, and that actually did affect the pitch of the propellers. And the pitch that's generated when you put something in between here is coherent to a right roll, and that was what happened when I flew indoors. So it seems to be just a matter of me not Loctiting these screws here. It's kind of ironic because I have Loctited every other screw, but I didn't do my own screws here, so that's a stupid mistake, but that happens. But I'm quite, pleased that it happened indoors. It could have happened when I was flying like 10 feet out of the ground, and I would probably have smashed it a lot worse. Okay, so the mono wheel, it actually works. It keeps its balance, and it was like super cute. It looked like E.T. when it was going around with its crooked back, and so I thought that was quite funny. However, this vehicle did not start out with a mono wheel. I went with the the dream of a flying motorcycle sort of thing. So it looked something like this. This is a previous iteration, and sometimes I don't even go to the full extent of the idea before I skip to the next one. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but it's difficult to work on a concept once you have realized it has some shortcomings you just do not want to engineer away. It's better if you can just eliminate them all in all. So what I did, I eliminated one wheel, which saves a lot of weight. But that's not the main point with the change. Because this would be more like road rideable with two wheels. Of course, to be safer, it's like a low riding sort of scooter thing with a ginormous beam going through. So it could be like an exciting excursion vehicle. You could go mostly on roads and then make small hops for pleasure, just for overcoming obstacles. So I think that's a cool concept still. However, what I really got stuck on is the I really want to have a vehicle that is as clean as possible when it's cutting through the air, and the aft rotor here would have to deal with a lot of turbulence coming off the pilot and the structure itself, and I want it to be as smooth as possible, and low vibrations and low noise and all that. So instead of going this way, having dirty air going through one rotor, and also less efficiency because the air is like sucked down with the first rotor, the air is actually pre-accelerated on the next rotor, and you have to compensate for that, or the control system does that automatically, but it consumes power. So I just flipped the concept over this way and have almost totally clean sweeping of the propellers, and it looks like just as weird anyway, so it doesn't matter. and since the control system does such a good job, I just realized I couldn't get away with one wheel instead. And in a VTOL concept, every single gram counts. I mean, for real, every gram is important. You can use that to battery your fuel to extend your flight time, so you really want to do that instead. Okay, so that was the first version there, and I'm just picking up on one of the comments. I really enjoy having the conversation with you via the comment section, especially when you have put your brain into the comments. It's super enjoyable and good to stir up new thoughts. And one of the comments was about this vehicle becoming a vehicle that could only take off from like a paved or clean surface, because the distance between the propeller and the ground is sort of short. So yeah, I mean, the ground being here and the propeller plane being up here. The good thing with this structure is that it's going to be super light, and the propellers are like over 2 meters, just slightly over 2 meters in diameter. So it sweeps a pretty large area, which means that the velocity does not have to be like jet-ish high, it's lower. But still, it's an obvious risk that the loose like soil and dirt will get picked up in the turbulence here, and start circulating through the propeller blades, and they will erode quickly if that happens. But the cool thing with the mono wheel, then, it struck me, is that I want this mono wheel to be 360 degrees rotatable, so that I can just start going this direction instead on the ground, or when you're going up a ramp or whatever. And since the control column up here doesn't matter in which direction you're going with your electric motor wheel down there, it makes it intriguing. It makes for an intriguing possibility. Don't get your hopes up. I'm just enjoying my TIG welding here. But anyway, I made this fork. It's going to hold like airless tire there, and it's going to be propelled by a gearbox, a planetary gearbox that goes into these screw holes down there, and it's propelled by a like 600 watt motor, 300 watt perhaps continuously at around 10 kilometers an hour. So it's slow but pretty strong, which will help me haul it around. And anyway, just by keeping this shaft portion here long means that I could like hoist it down prior to landing, so that I can land on the wheel with the propellers high above the ground. And since the control system is doing the attitude control, I can turn off the main motors at that height and still just be standing on the wheel balancing with the flight controller, and then I can just lower down the vehicle so that it settles on the ground. And prior to takeoff, of course, some sort of electromechanical mechanism to just push it down again, elevating the propeller from the ground, and then start the motors. So that's what I just love about these super weird, perhaps non-productive concepts, is that they generate super weird new ideas, and it's so enjoyable. And your comments really helps to stir up those thoughts and explore both the shortcomings and the possible new possibilities that arise or surfaces in this wonderful weird world of creative flow. Okay, so that was the rant about the mono wheel. See you in the next one. Bye.